There's a lot of people going through divorces with a narcissist, and a lot of those are very messy. A lot of those are very frustrating. A lot of those are very time consuming, and a lot of those are extremely expensive. And more what people are running into is the idea that when they start to go through the divorce process with their narcissist, they're met with no responses. They're met with snide remarks. They're met with no communication in regards to the divorce. And as a result, the narcissist continues to pull and hold onto like one tiny little strain that's left by keeping you stuck in a marriage. Oftentimes they won't respond to different things. They won't file any legal papers. They won't go through the legal system in different aspects. They'll just kind of sit back and not say anything. And it can be super frustrating and super disconcerting of like, how are you going to get out? How are you going to get out of this relationship? Like, what are you going to do? And the more and more I talk to people on one-on-one, like I know I need to, and I want to compile resources that people can actually go and be able to see like, hey, this is how you get out. This is the legal balance, the legal reasons that you can do X, Y, and Z to be able to break free of this person who's dragging their feet or doesn't want anything to do with it. Oftentimes on the narcissist side, you have them dragging their feet because they don't want to look bad. So you have to remember, like, narcissism is all about controlling that image, like controlling the projection that I'm putting out there, controlling the aspect of what you see. So a lot of times you'll have people that are going through a divorce that are getting drug out for a long period of time because that narcissist wants to appear a certain way. Maybe that's to their parents, maybe that's to their friends, maybe that's to other family, maybe that's to a work group, whatever it might be. But typically they want to keep that image. And that image in the majority of society doesn't look good to be divorced. That image in the narcissist minds means like, hey, if I actually admit that I'm divorced, if I actually sign those papers, if I actually say, hey, I'm going to go through with this, that it means in some aspects they think that they failed. And so as a result, a lot of times they will push back. And they won't engage with actually going forward with the divorce process. And this can cost the other party thousands and thousands of dollars while they're trying with all the legal fees to get things through, to push things a certain way, and it just ends up dragging on and on and on forever, it seems like. You see this oftentimes come really in a crazy light whenever they're dealing with children. And when they're going back and forth communicating about the kids or trying to figure out custody or trying to figure out visitation rights and things like this, that it gets really dicey and really, really awful. Because oftentimes the narcissist is fighting for the kids, not because they want the kids and not because they want to spend time with the kids, but because they want to appear like they care. They want to appear like the great dad. They want to appear like the loving mom. And as a result, they will oftentimes fight for things that they don't want. And oftentimes that's your children. And you'll see it time and time again in different relationships, in different divorce patterns where they'll fight for something. They'll fight for the kids and custody of the kids or visitation rights or whatever it might be. They'll fight for that, and then when they get that, or when that actually happens or visitation becomes a regular thing, you start realizing like, hey, they're not engaging at all. In fact, they don't really care. They're not even communicating. They're not even doing things with the kids. Like, they're literally just not caring about them. That's because behind closed doors, that narcissist appears to the world like they care, like they're loving, like they understand. But in reality, they don't. In reality, they don't care. But that can be really hard to be able to battle through. That can be really hard for people to figure out step by step of how to work through. And I'm hoping just with some of the YouTube, with some of the one-on-ones, with different things, talking to different people, I'm hoping to be able to connect more with people that can provide ideas and advice and different concepts or tools that they've used to be able to get through their divorce as painless as possible as it can be with a narcissist, with someone who's controlling, with someone who's manipulating all the facts, all the evidence, all the perceptions of everything going on. How do you handle that? Something I'm not well versed in. And so part of this video is literally just calling out the people who have been through this process, who have been through the divorce process with a narcissist. I understand why the narcissist thinks that way. but I don't have the legal aptitude to be able to tell you, like, hey, here's a couple things that you can pursue to make that a little bit easier. If you've been in a divorce, if you've gone through it with your narcissist, with your toxic ex, and you have tips and you have things that can help, like, leave some comments down below, because there's people searching for this stuff and I don't have all the answers, but I would love to be able to connect people with the right people to be able to help them find that healing. And they can't find that healing while they're still stuck in that relationship. They can't find that healing while they're still being controlled and manipulated, even if it is through a third party, because they're stuck in that divorce wheel and they're not able to get out of it because the other person doesn't want to commit to actually owning up to what they've done and finishing up the divorce. If that's you, just leave some hope. Leave some hope in the comments. Leave some ideas, some comments, some thoughts of, hey, this is something that helped. This is something that got me through. We need to develop more of a community of people that are willing to help each other through everything that they're going through, because the more united people can be, the better off we will be as a society, as a country, as a world, to be able to figure out how do we deal with this mental illness that's hurting so many people. And how do we protect others from developing that? How do we protect others from falling prey to that emotional insecurity, instability? And it's going to take one group at a time to try to bring knowledge and awareness and growth and healing and change to people that have been struggling and hurt and abused by narcissists. If that's you and you want to engage with people like that, please go down and visit the app. We've got it on the Apple Store. We've got it on the Google Play. Would love to have you interact with like 1,000 people or more that are on the app currently over the past month that it just released that are on that community. So it's called the NARC app, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. That's what it stands for. The NARC app is there to be able to connect you with like-minded people. We're constantly working on developing new information, new ideas, new lessons, new courses on there to be able to help teach people and train people up in narcissism and be able to connect them with other survivors who've been dealing through the same stuff. Would love to have you join that community and just have you engage with it so you can see there's more people out there that are growing. There's more people out there that have been hurting but are working on changing and are working on becoming better. We've got other different app exclusives and things like that that are going on inside the app. I won't bore you with that, but I would love to have you join that just for that community aspect. Maybe you're a person out there who's been struggling with narcissistic abuse and you've been in that relationship where you're not sure what was wrong. You're not sure how crazy it was. You're not sure the toxicity, but you know, hey, something wasn't right. This person really devalued me a lot. They really talked down to me. They really were really mean, really awful. They cheated on me and they didn't seem to care. They left me and they didn't even say goodbye. Like, all these different things that happen in your relationship, you're just like, I can't figure this out. Would love to talk to you. You can reach out on my website, rawmotivations.com. If you're familiar with Calendly, that's how it's called. Go to www.calendly.com/rawmotivations, and you've got my page there. You can grab a time. Would love to be able to sit down and talk with you. Whenever I talk with you, a lot of times what we do is we go through the situation that you've been through. We try to see like where your mindset is and what I can do to be able to help get you healing and change and grow to be the best person you could possibly be. Because a lot of times people are coming through a narcissistic relationship and they've got all this fog, all this like filter of everything that's going on because the narcissist has put all these fantasies and has put all these lies over them that they don't really know what's true. Like, was the relationship real? Did this person love me? Did they actually care? Like, do they care about my kids? Like, what's actually going on here? And a lot of times I try to work with people to help them understand and help them find healing by dealing with the feelings, the fable, and the facts to find out what is the real story that's going on here. And how do we acknowledge that, and how do we continue to grow and progress to move through this to be the best person possible? I do talk to some narcissists. There's some narcissists that reach out to me. Majority of them just want validation. They don't want actually healing and change. If that's you and you want to talk, would love to talk to you with you. But you got to be honest. If you're not going to be honest, then just don't waste my time. Okay? Would love to have you follow on different social media platforms. So we are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Check out the longer videos on YouTube, except that's where I'm talking right now, so you don't need to check these out. But check out more of the videos on YouTube because there's a lot of ones that I'm trying to deal with different subjects a little bit longer than just a minute on some of the shorts and things like that. Obviously, we also have podcasts. So Apple Podcasts and Spotify are two out there that would love to have you engage with as well. With Spotify and the Apple Podcast, there's also kind of like a sub-series called Inspire Motivate that's not really narcissistic content, but it's more motivational and it's more mindfulness and trying to get you to think beyond just narcissistic abusive relationship, but like what's next. So feel free to check that out. I'm going to stop word sputtering here, and we'll see you in the next video.